Good morning. We're lucky enough to have a visitor in the shop today, long-time carp angler Julian Cundiff.
Yeah, I usually pop in. I'm probably one of the few anglers who pops in here with biscuits rather than stealing biscuits. But I've let the guys down today.
Yeah, biscuits are always appreciated. They'll always win your favour in here with everybody.
Yeah, no, I always think biscuits for coffee. I'll bring the biscuits in. You make the coffee.
Yeah, so we'll always do that for you. So we're talking this morning. We're just going to look at bait. We're just coming out of winter eventually.
Yeah.
Spring. So what are your thoughts?
Although we are coming out of winter, it still feels blooming cold. I was chucking it down this morning, and I think what I've noticed as well at this time of year is we're getting a massive influx of anglers on the banks. I noticed just looking at the Norton Disney site a week or two ago, there was like 60, 70 spaces left, and I noticed last weekend there are no spaces available. For the first time ever, Norton Disney put up, please ring us before you come because there may be no spaces available. And what happens is that anglers at this time of year go, oh, it's warmer, the carp must be feeding, let's give them some food. But it doesn't work like that at all. It might be warmer up there, but just because it's 16 degrees or 14 degrees or 12 degrees, the water isn't like that. It's probably more like 6 degrees. And when you've got 30, 40, 50 anglers banging in a load of bait, it's the worst thing possible. So when it comes to bait at this time of year, I would say, yes, buy bait, but don't automatically take it and chuck it in, which is one of the big advantages nowadays. Of course, the majority of bait is available in shelf life or stabilized. So that's the big thing about bait nowadays is you don't, when we took it before, if you took frozen bait, you really threw it in when you left, whereas now you can take 5 kilo of bait and take home 4.9999 if you're a Yorkshireman like me and Mark.
Spoken like a true Yorkshireman.
Spoken like a true Yorkshireman. So bait at this time, at the moment, it would be minimal for me. I'll be concentrating on my hook baits more than anything else. It would be location and hook baits. I would want some free offerings out there, but when we talk about free offerings are to attract the carp to the food. So my idea of free offerings wouldn't be a load of free offerings. It would be something that attracts their attention. And at this time of year, certainly one of the best things ever is citrus. I didn't know much about these years ago, but then I just saw this magical, 2 words, contains milk bee. No, or milk B plus. Anybody who knows my fishing in the 80s and 90s and some of the noughties knows that one of the baits I used to use a lot had the Cotswold Baits milk B plus, and I noticed that one of the additives in citrus is milk B. Now this is, for this country, really a cold water bait, although Alan Blair uses it all the time. I would say for the majority of anglers who are watching this, citrus is your cold water bait. It's really highly attractive, and what Nash have done now is instead of it being the bright colours, pink and white, they've actually put it on a feed base, so you can actually feed this in. So when you leave, you can put maybe half a kilo or whatever and come back in a couple of days time and know that it's been in one end and out the other end, whereas the other one was really in a tractor package in pink and yellow. You still get those colours, but that's for hook bait. So at this time of year, I would be saying, if I was using Nash bait at this time of year, I would be using a minimal amount of citrus. I'd either be using 12 mils, a couple around my hook bait, or even better, I'd be flaking it up, sticking it through your boilie crusher, anything to attract the carp but not overfeed them. So that would be my choice of bait.
Yeah. And one last bit, are you adding any liquids to that as well?
Sometimes I do. I mean, the bait, you've got all the bait dips, you've got the clouds, the soap. I've not been a massive over emphasis on that. To me, at this time of year, if they can find it, they'll eat it. And the bright one over a small patch of flake, if you get 6 or 7, 12 millers, it doesn't look much, but when you put them in a crusher and you see what the crumb looks like, especially if you put it in a little PVA bag and cast it out, drop it in the margins, and you'll see literally a spread like that. Now that's got all the attraction of 6, 7, 8 boilies, but They've nothing there to feed them other than that little pink or yellow hook bait over the top. So to me, I'll be fishing over minimal, and maybe if I was coming back in a couple of days or a week or so, then and only then would I put a bit more bait out and come and fish over it. So less bait, more emphasis on in the right place.